What's up, everybody? If you're new to this channel, this is the first time you've watched one of my reviews. I'm Rob. I'm from Toronto. This is Whiskey in the Six. The Six being Drake's nickname for Toronto. Today I have the Glengoyne 15-year-old. Okay, that's the tin for it. This is the actual bottle. Okay, I poured myself a glass. It's been sitting for roughly 15 minutes. I will be referring to my phone for a little bit of help to remind me what I wrote down when I was tasting this. I've had this bottle for about a month now. It's really good stuff. Glengoyne is quickly becoming, if not has officially become, my favorite distillery. I reviewed earlier the 18-year-old. It's excellent stuff. As a gift from my father, I got the 21-year-old, which I'm hoping to find a smaller bottle of. I'm likely going to order it from the UK, the half-size bottles, just so I can review this, because I prefer not to open this as it was a gift. It's my theory that in the next little while, Glengoyne is going to gain a lot of steam, a lot of momentum, and become very valuable, very collectible. They release all of their batches in limited quantities, so there's something you want to look out for in the next little while at local liquor stores. They're a really, really good product. They are the only other distillery to use Golden Promise barley, and the main one being the famous Macallan. Okay, Macallan uses Golden Promise barley. After I do this review, I would like to do a head-to-head, this 15-year-old versus the Macallan 15-year-old Fine Oak. And I'll explain to you why in a bit. So, this particular bottling, so the 10, the 12, and the 15, so this one right here, are all aged in ex-bourbon casks, first fill bourbon casks, as well as ex-European sherry casks. Okay? The European sherry casks are refill. The bourbon, the ex-bourbon casks are first fill. So the color is probably coming from the ex refill sherry, whereas some of the tastes you're getting inside the bottle very different from the 18 because of the bourbon. Okay, the bourbon is exclusively sherry, both refill and first fill sherry. So you're getting quite a difference in the taste. The 18, when you smell it, when you taste it, you get hit with a sherry whiskey. Okay, whereas that's not the case with this one. When you first open the bottle, you pour your glass, you get a lot of wine as your initial smell. It smells like almost like a Merlot. As the glass develops, as you pour the glass and it develops in the glass, it starts to oxidize. Then you start to get a little bit more of that sherry sweet note. Okay, so after about 15 minutes, I said in my earlier videos, and I'm not originating this. This is probably actually one of Ralphie's recommendations. Ralphie's a famous whiskey reviewer on YouTube. Wait about a minute per year of the bottling in the glass. That's going to give you the optimal experience with your whiskey. A lot of people put a drop of water. At 43%, I don't think this needs any water. This is an excellent whiskey. So I'm going to start with the nose. Like I said, I'm going to be referring to my phone just because there's times where I write things and then I forget to say them in the video. So this way, I'm staying true to the whiskey, staying true to the review, the integrity of what I'm saying by going by how I feel about it. without forgetting anything. Okay, so like I said earlier, you still get that wine, but it's a lot more subdued. It's more of a sweet sherry now. You get honey. It's a touch sharper than the 18 on the nose, but still a very nice nose. Still a very complex nose. You get a touch of banana. I believe the banana is coming from the first fill bourbon cask. Okay, and there's a little bit of vanilla in there as well. Alright, on the palate. Okay. There's a ton of cinnamon on the palate. And once you taste it, you begin to smell it a little bit too. A lot of cinnamon, but sweet cinnamon, like almost like those cinnamon hearts. That spiciness, the warmth of a cinnamon heart, the sweetness of a cinnamon heart, and the cinnamon, obviously the flavor. That's coming from the cask. That's probably coming from the sherry. Okay. I'm amazed with Glengoyne because they're chill filtered. They don't add any color, so there's no color added to the 15. There's no color added to any of their whiskeys, but they are chill filtered. And why I'm amazed is they still manage to get that syrupy texture to their whiskey. It's like a weightier whiskey. It's not light like a glass of water. It's got a weightiness to it. Okay, it's not as sweet as the 18, but it's still pretty sweet. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be doing a head-to-head in the upcoming weeks. This versus the Macallan 15-year-old Fine Oak. The reason for that being, both the Glengoyne 15-year-old and the Macallan 15-year-old Fine Oak are a mixture of ex-bourbon, ex-sherry barrels. Okay, they're both using Golden Promise barley. There are some serious differences. We'll get into detail of that when the time comes, when I'm doing the comparison. This is excellent whiskey for $90 Canadian. So I'm not sure what they're going to be in the States, what they're going to be in Europe, but in Canada, in Ontario specifically, at the LCBO, it's $90. That is an incredible bang for your buck. Okay, I believe Balvenie 15-year-old is upwards of $150 to $200. Some of the other 15-year-olds are just as expensive as the Balvenie. For $90, you're getting a high quality whiskey here. Okay, they're not adding color. It's great stuff. Okay. Glengoyne doesn't add any peat to their whiskey. So when they're drying out their barley, they don't use the peat drying process. They use the hot air drying process. Okay, that for me, I like peat. I like your Highland Park. I like your Dalwhinnie. Those are very little peat type whiskeys, but I really enjoy this. This is more for me. If I'm gonna have a peaty whiskey, it's not gonna be for dessert. It's not gonna be after a meal. It's gonna be probably before a meal. Okay, before I have something like this that's a bit sweeter, a bit lighter on the palate. Okay, that's not to say that the peatier whiskeys are not sweet. They are, but the nose gives that dessert type feel. All right, on the Glengoyne, whereas some of the peatier ones, not so much. Okay, I'm going to score this. I'm going to stick with my gut. I believe this is a solid A, guys. This is fantastic stuff for $90. Go pick up a bottle. It's borderline as good as it gets. Like I said, I haven't given anything an A+ yet. I don't know if I have met an A+. Maybe the 21-year-old will be that A+. Hopefully one day I can get my hands on the 25-year-old Glengoyne. Maybe that's my A+. I'm not sure. I would still rank the 18-year-old slightly ahead of the 15-year-old. The 18-year-old is excellent stuff. Probably my favorite whiskey right now. Okay? The 15-year-old is in my top 3. Maybe next to Glendronach, some of the Glendronachs that I've had. This is great stuff. Okay? So go pick up a bottle. A solid A. If you know anybody that likes whiskey, likes scotch, please share the video. I have an Instagram account. It's @whiskeyinthe6. My Twitter account is @whiskey_in_the_6. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section below. And cheers, guys.